All right, good evening, everybody. It is December 21st, 2022. It's about 8:46 p.m. here in New York time. Tonight, we are going to be walking uptown. We're going to be walking up Fifth Avenue to Central Park South, right outside the Plaza Hotel. Hopefully, we'll be able to see the big menorah. I think it's the largest one in the city. Now, I forget the name of the park, but it's located right in between Central Park, 59th Street, Plaza Hotel, Apple Store. You get the picture. So we're going to be heading up that way. A lot to talk about. We finally got the existing home sales numbers from the National Association of Realtors. And as we've been talking about, these numbers continue to fall off a cliff. Now, I think this is the 10th straight month in a row of sales declines as it relates to transaction volume. We'll be talking about why that is. We're also going to be talking about the prices of existing homes as well. It's going to be interesting to see as we sort of talk about this data in which part of the country home sales really fell off a cliff and deteriorated and which parts of the market actually held up. Now, in addition to the geography, we're also going to be talking about the specifics as it relates to the luxury real estate market, the mid-market, lower end, which particular markets held up favorably well, which markets cratered. We'll talk about that tonight. Now, here's something that's interesting. Now, median home prices, so of all the sales transactions last month in November, it was actually up year over year, but continuing to decelerate month over month. The median sales price was about $370,700. So still pretty elevated, but as you know, it's not necessarily the year over year numbers that make the difference. It's the steep deceleration in the month over month. So as we look at leading economic indicators, such as home builder sentiment surveys, which we talked about, as well as the permitting data that's going to be coming out, we're going to sort of analyze how all this intertwines into each other. Let's take a quick peek at the markets. S&P 500, NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average were all higher today. Now, that's probably to be expected because we've had about 5 straight days of the market getting bombed, getting clocked. So we'll see if we can make it above these major moving averages. As of today's close, the S&P 500 has rallied right back to its 50-day, but still sitting well below. So give me a minute to close up the laptop here, everybody, and then we will get started on the live stream. Hope you guys had a fantastic Wednesday. Tomorrow's going to be a really crazy storm that's going to hit New York City. I'm not sure if you guys heard about it. but it's going to bring a crazy amount of rain. So I'm not sure if we're going to be live tomorrow night. All right, let me put my laptop away. All right, looking good. And let's head downstairs. And I'll say hello to everybody in the chat there. I see Vinny Castellano, Gary Carpenter, Austin City Limits, all of our good friends, the Mighty Bull, welcome. Carol, good to see you, Carol. We are here, WeWork's office, Madison Avenue WeWorks. They just redid all of the sort of the furniture setting here. Wait, is this a wet furniture sign? I've never seen that. Why would the furniture be wet? Anyway, let's head downstairs. I'll see you guys on the other side. Hey, how's it going? See you later. Is it raining yet? No, not yet. I think all the rain is going to start tomorrow. All right, team, we are here on the corner of East 31st Street and Madison Avenue. It is a very, very frigid, cold night here, but very clear night, which is good. I guess we can call this the calm before the storm. I see Gennaro J is here. Good to see you. Yeah, we do. We finally have the, what's it called? Tripod, gimbal, however you want to call it. I guess you guys won't be getting seasick tonight on the stream. Hey, the ABX girl is here. So today was the day to fly. Flights in North Carolina are getting canceled after 7 a.m. Yeah, you know, it's crazy. You know, I was texting a couple people today, and tomorrow, now granted, hold on, I got to show you guys a little piece of the Empire State Building. I'd be crazy not to. Also lit up in the Hanukkah colors. That's what I want to see tonight. So really quick, just to recap, we're going to be walking up 5th Avenue, maybe 6th, I don't know. But I think the largest menorah in the city is right there on the corner of 5th Avenue and 59th. I have not yet seen it this year. I think it'll be cool to check out. But what is it? The bomb cyclone it's called, right? Something's going on, something crazy. But tomorrow, almost all day in the city, it is going to be raining and almost 50-mile-an-hour winds. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do a live stream because it's going to start, I think, at about noon, maybe noon, 1 o'clock New York time, and go all the way into Friday. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to be live. We'll see. Hey, War Walker, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Indeed, it is a big difference. Austin City Limits, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Julia M, hope you had a good day. Steve CR, I see my friend Fred X, Sparks Carnival. I know, it's a big difference when we have the gimbal and when we don't, right? Kind of crazy. Now, across the board today, we had the major equity indices higher. Now, here's where I wouldn't say I'm getting a little confused, but I think we need to be paying attention to something here. Take a look at the VIX. Now, I posted a couple charts on my Twitter today, but this VIX is rolling over here. So if you throw a 50-day moving average or a 200-day moving average on the VIX, we rallied when we had that 3 to 5 day sell-off to the major moving averages, and now we're rolling over again. Now, granted, all of the major equity indices were higher today, which is to be expected after you have about 5 days of severe pounding, which is exactly what the market has been taking. And notice the key levels that we talk about, specifically as it relates to that 50-day. Now, the S&P 500 rallied throughout the day today, but we sort of had a weak close. Now, here's something else. I'm going to throw a lot at you guys tonight, but here's something else I'm watching, and I think we all need to be watching. And I would say starting now until the end of the year, I think we only have about 7 trading days left, maybe 6. Volume should taper off going into the holidays for obvious reasons, right? A lot of people are taking off. Nobody's really trading. Nobody's really moving money around. Maybe there'll be some window dressing going on, but I'm not sure if this rally is going to be sustained if we don't have significant volume, assuming we break above the 50-day. Who knows? Touring different places this year. Good to see you. Taxi Cab says, hey Tom, I liked your clip video. Yeah, so I posted, I think that's going to be the introduction to our live streams, I think, depending on how you guys like it. Because obviously when we start the live streams, it's in the office and I'm sometimes finishing up emails and things like that, and it takes us maybe a minute or two to get back online. So I think it'd be better to have an intro to the stream. We're on the corner of 34th Street and Madison. Right now you are looking at the very famous One Vanderbilt building. Dan Zhang says, hey Tom, are you going to do a stream on Saturday? It's 20 degrees. Hope you can stay indoors. I'm not sure. Usually the cold is no biggie. We could usually stream through the cold. It's usually like the rain and the wind that gets us, which is kind of crazy. But Dan, good to see you. Wendy England says, Tom, I was shoveling snow today. It was -12. Oh my God. Yeah, thank God we're not getting that kind of low temperature here. Edward Adams says, hey Tom and everybody, welcome. Thanks for joining. I Want to Be GMO says, great clips. Steve CR says volume is down. Yeah, usually volume will taper off going into the end of the year. That's why I don't think any of these big rallies that we have probably should not be trusted in my opinion. Now, I'm going to try to read some of the comments here, but we're still dealing with major technical difficulties on the live stream. My friend NNB045 says, Tom, 6.8% inflation for November in Canada. Well, at least we're headed in the right direction, right? Here, let me give you guys a shot of the Empire State Building. We're walking down 34th Street. Dusty Cole is here. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Jay, Steph UH is supposed to get cold in Orlando. Steph, I heard that too. One of my good buddies lives in the panhandle of Florida. And there's a chance, now it may probably not going to happen, but there's a chance that they could see snow flurries there in the panhandle, which would be crazy. Now for me, and I don't know about you guys, what do you guys think about this? Tomorrow in New York, we obviously just reviewed, it's going to be a total washout. Snow, rain, wind, not snow, but rain and wind all day. I would much rather have 20 degrees and snowing, because at least it's workable. You can get around and you can do things. But when it's raining and 50 mile an hour winds, you pretty much can't do anything. You're inoperable. You got to stay indoors. So I actually wouldn't mind some snow here in New York. I don't know about you guys, but I would much rather have the snow. Sparks Carnival says, Tom, Oracle has been very strong, sells for less than 17 times forward earnings. I still like Oracle going into 2023, says Sparks Carnival. Interesting. Now here's where Sparks Carnival, there's been one concern, I would say, with Oracle specifically. Now, I would say one of the bigger bear theses, I shouldn't say the biggest one, I should say the most famous one that everybody's talking about is this sort of conniption we're having with TikTok. So we've sort of covered this on previous live streams, but the US government wants to ban TikTok. I don't think it's going to happen. I think what you're going to see is, maybe some state governments will ban their employees from having it on government smartphones and tablets, but I really, really doubt that's going to make a material impact. But let's say on the off chance that TikTok actually does get banned. Well, Oracle, I think, provides all of the cloud hosting and services for TikTok. And this has been the main rebuttal from ByteDance, right, which is the parent company, to say, look, we are not selling Americans' data to the Chinese government, or the Chinese government does not have access to it, right? So their whole claim to fame is you don't have to worry about Americans' data being exposed to the CCP because it's housed onshore here in the United States in Oracle servers. Now, I'm not going to go into the argument about that, but I guess that's just one of the theses there. If you look across the street, you'll see the Starbucks Reserve store. Now, I want to turn your attention actually to the second floor. If you look really closely, you could actually see the bar. So there's actually a bar where you can get drinks and things like that, sort of coffee enthused and themed drinks. Obviously, ticker symbol is SBUX. NPC007, thank you for joining us. Hopefully you had a good day. Edward Adams says, Tom, as far as snow, New York City may not see any snow yet, but by me, Poughkeepsie area, yes. Yeah, I think you're right. The further upstate New York you go, the colder the temperatures will be. But I don't know, I would much rather, in my opinion, see snow than all this rain that we're gonna get. Who knows? SME Media is here. Welcome, SME Media. Happy Wednesday. Touring different places. This is Tom. There's gonna be a big snowstorm in Pennsylvania tomorrow. Yeah, definitely hunker down for that one. Good to see you touring different places. Sally is here, says beautiful view. Thank you, Sally. Kikos is here, says hi. GGNYC says hello, Tom and friends. Welcome. FredX says everybody wears black. I've been noticing that on the sidewalk today. I think it's mainly because people are bundling up. Sanchez says, hey Tom, welcome. So everybody, the main topic of discussion tonight that I wanted to bring attention to, obviously we got a major piece of economic data out today from the National Association of Realtors. They did release their existing home sales for November. Now, for those of you who've been watching Walks on Wall Street, tuning into the channel, over the past year, we've been really, really paying close attention to the trajectory of sales transactions and sales volumes as it relates to existing home sales in the United States. Now, there seems to be a direct correlation, obviously, between interest rates, or the trajectory of interest rates, the cost of money, cost of capital, and sales transactions. So as a quick review, I think it's appropriate to review, even though we do it every night, but for those of you who want a quick reminder, as it relates to the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, it tends to move in lockstep with the benchmark 10-year US Treasury yield. So generally speaking, if you look at the 10-year US Treasury, I think the easiest way to take a look at it is if you go to cnbc.com/bonds, you'll actually be able to see the entire yield curve for free. Now, to be fair, mortgage rates have actually been coming down in tandem with that 10-year US Treasury. But today, I think the 10-year was actually up a bit. The dollar was down, but still, sales transactions have fallen off a cliff, right? During 2020 and 2021, people were able to afford, and I'm using air quotes here, afford, because I don't think, I tend to have a different process, so to speak, of affordability as it relates to buying a home. Many people think, oh, if I could afford the monthly payment, then I can afford it. That's not really the way you should look at buying an asset. But anyway, if interest rates have moved 100% to the upside year over year, well, that mortgage rate on the mortgage payment on a $450,000 home has pretty much gone from under $2,000 to now just a hair under $4,000. Then you add the taxes and insurance, and many people are priced out of the market. So we're coming up against 34th Street, Herald Square. Across the street, you can see the very famous Macy's here. Unij22, welcome. Says hello everybody, good to see you, Unij. Sparks Carnival says home sales were down 35.4% year over year, the slowest pace since 2010. Yeah, I mean, Sparks Carnival, isn't that crazy? Now, a lot of people, because I tuned into CNBC a little bit, and there were a lot of people that were surprised by this, but it's actually not surprising at all. I would like to note that if we talk about, and if we look back throughout history, right? If you look at historical data as we cross over towards the Macy's here, usually as sales transactions contract and decline, so does valuations and prices. Now, we are seeing valuations decline, but not at, I would say, a broad-based pace as we saw on, or as we've seen in other major market declines. So here's one of the menorahs here, but we're going to be making our way uptown, 5th Avenue, outside of the Plaza Hotel, in order to see the largest one. It's supposedly the largest one in the city, but for now I'll give you guys a quick peek of Macy's. But on a year-over-year basis, home prices were still up, right? I think the median sales price for the month of November in the United States was $370,700. Now, on a year-over-year basis, that's still up about 3.5%, I believe. But what's more important is to look at the month-over-month trajectory, and we are seeing steep deceleration in price gains. Hey, Flat Smack, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. SME Media, welcome. Steph UH says, Tom, the inventory is still really low here. Yeah, so Steph, you make a really good point. And that was something that really stood out to me in the report. So in the National Association of Realtors, I believe they said there's about 3.3 months of supply on the market, which is really historically very low. I think according to many economists, in order for the market to be quote unquote balanced, they're looking for about 6 months, six and a half months of supply. Derek Dulce, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I've noticed a lot more people out tonight. It seemed like the city was dead on Monday, isn't it? I really think that's the introduction of hybrid work. You guys remember the live stream on Monday? There was nobody on the streets. Desi says, thank you for your stream. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Yeah, Whisk says, to anyone not used to the cold weather, please turn off your outside taps. Make sure your dryer vents don't get covered with snow, and make sure the batteries in your carbon monoxide detector are charged. Very good advice there. Thank you for putting that in the chat. Very good advice. All right, team, but we must push onward from Herald Square. The exact location is West 35th Street and Avenue of the Americas, 6th Avenue. There's actually a really good Korean place right on 35th Street, West 35th. It's called Hanbat. Very good. ATC, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Now, do you guys know what my biggest concern was out of the existing home sales report today? I'll tell you my biggest concern, and you'll notice a pattern in my biggest concern, because we've actually been talking about this quite often on the stream as it relates to the big wealth divide in our country. Here's one more shot of the Empire. Really unique shot right here. ATC says, hey Tom, good to see you, ATC. Now, as you know, we've been talking about my thesis for why we are seeing a major widening wealth gap in America. And in my view, it has mainly been because of extreme quantitative easing over the past 14 years, right? Creating huge inflation in asset prices. Now we're starting to see inflation as it relates to regular goods and services that people buy every single day. Oh, here's what I was talking about. So hopefully we'll see that tonight. So during Hanukkah, they have sort of like impromptu parades. You'll see these big trucks, big vans, big vehicles with huge menorahs in the back, driving up and down 5th Avenue and driving up and down 6th Avenue as well. Here's one of them. I think they actually hand out candles here too.
Tonight's number 4.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, I'm not, but happy Hanukkah. Yeah, happy holidays. So, the reason why I bring this up, I'll just cut right to the point. This month, we hit a new record low as it relates to the share of first-time home buyers purchasing homes. And we'll sort of get into why that I think that's going to be a big issue, or is already a big issue, but is going to grow into an even larger one down the line. Here's, you can just see the top of the One Vanderbilt building through these 2 buildings here. Now, out of all the homes that were sold last month, first-time home buyers made up only 28% of sales in November. Does anybody want to take a guess in the chat of what a normal level is? And you'll notice the dates here. We're going to get into some specific dates. You'll notice when that started to decline rather harshly. This is West 37th Street. Desi says 67%. No, but close. SME Media says 60% close. Yeah, Whisker says it's a huge issue. That being said, rentals don't charge you real estate tax. True. A lot of close guesses. I Want to Be GMO is the closest so far at 53. Stephanie says 75%. Fairways is around 50. It's 40%. I'll tell you guys, it's 40%. Now, what we've been seeing, especially, and this is why I think coming in 2023, I'm going to be incorporating more standalone videos so you guys can see more visuals of the data I'm talking about. So I'm going to be building a lot of these models in Excel and then sharing them with you guys so you could see it visually. It's good to talk about it on the streams, but I think in order for some people to really grasp these concepts, like for me, I'm a visual learner. So I think that's one of the things I'm going to be starting to incorporate. But, you know, we're starting to see extreme deterioration year over year and month over month in the percentage of first-time home buyers buying homes, right? And the reason for this, obviously, is we're coming off the back of 14 years of very, very easy money policy. Now, you would think, well, Tom, if interest rates on a 30-year fixed are sub 3%, like they were, wouldn't that actually help people get into or afford a home? I argue no. People in Congress will argue yes, but that is all Keynesian economics that I tend to disagree with. Because at the end of the day, what has been happening is the Federal Reserve has been leaving their monetary policy extremely loose and providing ample amounts of liquidity into the market. But as we know and as we've talked about on the live stream, liquidity drives price, okay? And the problem is we've been having a period of 14 years where wages have remained stagnant, but we've been seeing really high inflation as it relates to asset prices. You talk about homes, apartments, duplex, multifamily, equities, anything, right? So now that we're coming off of that period of extreme quantitative easing, hopefully these home prices will start to come down a little bit. But here's the interesting factor. Oh, this is a really nice shot here. We're outside Bryant Park, Winter Village. Maybe we'll actually take a walk around inside. I don't think we have in quite some time. Anyway, but here's the interesting fact here, okay? And this is the key. This is the keys to the kingdom. I think it was Steph, UH, in the chat, had mentioned that even though rates are going up, prices are coming down a little bit, but the reason why they're not coming down as fast as they should is because inventory and supply is actually still very low. Now, it's an interesting dichotomy that has been created because there's really no incentive for somebody who bought a home over the last 10 years to sell it because they probably purchased that property with very cheap debt. So even if they were to sell it at a very handsome profit, they'd probably have to go right back into the market that is ultra competitive with higher rates to buy probably the same quality property, and their mortgage payment would be higher. So it's almost like the worst sort of environment for a first-time home buyer, which is unfortunate because we always cite the study that if you look at the vast majority of the net worth of an average American, it's actually built through the equity in your home. And if we have a whole generation that's not able to afford property, well, that's going to be an entire generation that is not going to be building wealth as my parents have, and many generations before, right? Now, I'm not saying my parents literally, but you know, our parents' generations, grandparents' generations. All right, team, here we are, the Winter Village in Bryant Park. I'm so surprised we actually made it up here tonight. Yeah, Michael Joseph, you're right. It looks like a lot more people are out tonight. I don't know what was going on Monday. It seemed like the city was pretty dead. Whisks says, Tom, the opportunity to save has been incredibly limited over the past 10 years. Makes that 10% down payment with no mortgage insurance crazy tricky. Plus inflation has inflated the price of homes. Yeah, you're right. And notice what all of this asset price inflation has benefited, right? Again, we always cite the breakdown about, 90% of all the assets are owned by 5 to 7% of Americans. So it's causing that really massive wealth disparity there. This is one of my favorite things here at the Bryant Park Winter Village, is the fountain here at Bryant Park. Hey, Felipe Lima says, good evening, guys. Hey, Felipe. Welcome. Matthew M says, beautiful shot. Expert Enough says hi. Good to see you, Expert Enough. Hey, Michael Ginther is here. Says, hey, Tom, I live in Torrance, California, in a middle-class neighborhood where houses go for $1 million plus. Oh, my God. Young first-time home buyers are priced out. Yeah, holy crap. I mean, think about that, right? Now, in states specifically like New York and California, right? We're in New York. And now states like Florida, too, which is crazy, especially near the Tampa and Miami sort of, I would say, sub-markets. They're getting very, very expensive. So, for example, now I would like to clarify here, because New York State is a massive state. Everybody thinks, oh, you're from New York, you must be from, you know, the boroughs of Manhattan. New York is massive, right? You have upstate New York, near Rochester, near Syracuse, Buffalo. It's just a massive state. But generally speaking, if we're talking about the housing market here, out in Nassau County, Suffolk County, and even, I would say, as far up as maybe Poughkeepsie, it's almost near impossible for first-time buyers to acquire a piece of property unless they have either significant help from parents or something like that, because I think of two main factors. Number one, the prices of homes in Nassau and Suffolk County are just astronomical. There's no way that you're getting anything decent as it relates to a single family home on Long Island for under, I would say, maybe $600,000. If it's under $600,000, it probably needs a ton of work. Also, property taxes are going to bang you over the head too, right? You're going to get clocked with that. You know, I have a friend that just bought a place in Merrick, which is a town on Long Island, and the property tax bill is going to be over $20,000 for the year. So on top of the taxes, on top of the high prices in general, it's tough. It's tough for first-time home buyers in this market, and that's exactly what the report told us today. A lot of people in Bryant Park tonight. Whisk says, Tom, you can't just win for losing with houses. I bought in 2009 after the crash for a great price. However, the taxes continue to go up, up, and up, eliminating the opportunity to improve said home and buy larger, says Whisk. You make a very good point, and this is another reason why rents are going up astronomically, right? So if we talk about appraisal values, right, because property taxes, it smells amazing here. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. But it smells unbelievable here. What do they got? What are they selling here? Looks like donuts, maybe. I'm tempted. Looks good. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, property taxes. Now, that is another reason, in my opinion. And again, these are opinionated statements here that I'm making, everybody. I know that we all have different opinions, and I think that's good. So this is just my personal opinion. Doesn't mean that I'm right. Doesn't mean that I'm wrong. Now, one of the main reasons why we've been having a ridiculous amount of pressure, or upward pressure on rents, is because if I'm a landlord, right? Let's say if I'm a landlord for single family rental, right? I mean, I have a house and I just want to rent it out. Well, let's say if I recently just bought said house, recently. Well, what does everybody not really understand, and many people overlook, is that if you just bought a house within the last 2 years, your property taxes have likely doubled. Especially if you bought, let's say, an older home that the person has lived in for their entire life. You know, I've seen property tax bills from the previous owner go from $700 to $7,000, just mainly because that person was living in the home for their entire life and then sold it. And when you sell it, well, your appraisal value goes through the roof. So if you're renting a single family home or multifamily and your property tax bills keep going up, well, landlords are not going to pay that property tax bill out of the goodness of their heart. They're going to pass that cost on to, you guessed it, the tenants. And I think a lot of people really overlook that key significant point, because yes, we had all of this price appreciation in the real estate market, and let's say we have some of the valuations actually go down, the real estate taxes are not going to go down, because it's not like it's going to be reappraised every year. So you can lose a ton in your equity, but your property taxes are going to stay the same. And in which case, if you're renting that out, well, guess what? That means you're either going to have to raise your rents and the tenant's going to have to eat that cost inadvertently. Wow, look at this. Really good shot of the Christmas tree here in Bryant Park, right outside the ice skating rink. Edward Adams says, that's true. I bought my condo in 2004 for $175,000. It was brand new construction. Mortgage is under $850 a month. I'm very, very lucky. Congratulations on that. Love to hear it. Steve CR, I know, the stomach has gotten my brain, man. It smells really good here. Hey, my friend Disney cast member, what's up? Good to see you. Sorry, I'm just trying to read some of the comments here. As you guys know, we're still battling with the technical issues. Elliott Wave Review says, hey Tom, are you holding your BTC even if it keeps shrinking, or you'll cash out your 5% allocation eventually? So I don't trade Bitcoin. Essentially what I do is I just keep my allocation in check, right? So let's say, for example, and this is just me personally, what I do, and I've sort of said the thesis before, it is because I like the appeal of unconfiscatable money. Now, not as a speculation tool, but I think as like a fail-safe to have, let's say between, 1 and 5% of your net worth be in a vehicle that you could transfer money across the world very cheaply or whatnot, right? If you need to get money out of the United States or out of another country, I find value in that. So I don't trade it, but if my allocation falls out of, let's just say my allocation is 10%, right? I'm just using a random number. Let's say if the allocation is 10%, 5%, whatever you want to call it. If the price goes up, that's going to move my allocation maybe from 10% to 12%. So I would need to sell down that position. But as the price declines and falls, well, maybe that'll knock my allocation well below my set target, in which case I'll have to add to the position to bring it back to that 5%, if that makes sense. My friend Disney cast member says, no doubt the taxes on Long Island are terrible. My family left there many years ago, and it was even high back then. Yeah, and I think Nassau County has higher taxes, I think, than Suffolk. But it's not uncommon to have, a property tax bill of $12,000 to $20,000 on the island. It's not uncommon at all. Zozo Bob is here. Welcome, Zozo Bob. Let's give a quick rating on this Christmas tree here. I'm going to go 9.3. It looks actually very nice. Don't Be Evil says, I'm on Long Island and I'm depressed every time I think I will have to buy a house eventually. Well, you don't have to buy a house. You don't have to do anything. Disney cast member says, we were in Suffolk County. My nieces are still there, but they rent a house. Wow, they pay $5,000 a month to rent? Holy crap. Oh my God. $5,000 a month to rent. That's $60,000 a year. That's more than the average salary in America that they just are dropping on rent every year. That's crazy. Holy crap. Oh my God, Disney cast member. I can't get over that one.
Attention skaters. Phones, headphones, cameras, and other electronic devices.
Flats Max is telling me I pay $9,000 a year and get a credit on my returns. Oh, they live in East Setauket. That's a very nice high rent district neighborhood. Tommy G says, greetings from Nassau County. Hey, I play chess in Bryant Park. Love that. Yeah, usually during the summer, there's a ton of chess boards here. I think they're mainly over on the northernmost western side of the park. But good to see you. Welcome. SBK Pilot 11 says, Tom, my rent in DFW just went up 15%, though the market was falling. You know, that may be because the landlord is trying to offset the property tax bill. Dan Zhang says, Tom, I have a friend who pays $5K a month-ish in Long Island City. Well, they must have like a really, really nice place with the amazing view to pay $5,000 a month. I don't know. I mean, let's say if I assume I had the money to pay $5,000 a month in rent, I just don't think I could. I don't think my brain is wired that way. Hey, Ken says folks in high tax markets should petition their politicians to lower the taxes. Yeah, I mean, look, there is trade-offs to play devil's advocate, right? Now, I think Long Island, New York, specifically in Nassau County, I think they have some of the best schools in the entire nation. So maybe there's trade-offs. You know, I like Long Island. I think it's a nice place. It's where I'm from, so... But just to try to play devil's advocate there, but I do agree. I mean, the property taxes are just too insane. Now, I think in New Jersey, they're even worse than here, aren't they? Sean Connolly says, Tom, did you see Wells Fargo had to pay a record $3.7 billion for illegal activity? Yeah, I mean, that's all common practice with these investment banks. Now, one of the things you'll also notice if you do the research is that as it relates to the metals market, I think the latest investment bank that had to pay a hefty fine was a French investment bank called BNP Paribas for manipulating the paper silver market. And there's some conspiracies, I'll call it a conspiracy just so we don't get the channel taken down, that many of these big banks collude in order to manipulate and suppress the price of precious metals. And they have to pay billions of dollars worth of fines regularly for that. You know, just Google, you know, big investment banks paying massive fines for manipulating or spoofing the metals market. But if they can make $100 million doing that and then have to pay a $50 million fine, for them it's just the cost of doing business. Now, I also think that Wells Fargo back in the day, maybe 2 years ago, had to pay a multi-billion-dollar fine for opening checking accounts without customers' consent. Is that correct? Now, I want to make sure I'm getting that right, but I think that's what happened. These are really unique here. I guess you could rent out one of these igloos. Steve CR says, Tom, 1970s family of 5 worked mom. No. Interesting. Wow, Wendy England says, Tom, they were also signing up people for credit cards without their consent. Jeez. Oh, here is the menorah in Bryant Park. Looks very nice and festive. Now, you know what I think is the most unethical thing, and I actually tweeted about this a while ago, if you follow @WalksWallStreet on Twitter. Now, we all know back in the day, this was before I was in college, that a lot of banks would actually set up like tables or booths, sort of like with what you would see here in front of, you know, college campuses, and they would very, very aggressively market credit cards and other instruments to the students, right? And then obviously they were paying the colleges for that time. I think that is rather unethical, but here's what's even more unethical, what they're doing now. Some colleges are actually partnering with online gambling, sports betting, casinos to sign up college students and encourage them to gamble. So first of all, we slam these students with hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt that they'll probably never pay off. And then while they're in debt, we encourage them to gamble and develop gambling addictions. Now, that is beyond me why they would ever want to do that, but I think, money talks, and these institutions are probably getting a big kickback from that. But yeah, if you want to read that article, I posted it on my Twitter. It's just bizarre. Now, again, that's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right about it, but if I was the dean of a university and a casino, emailed me and said, hey, in exchange for X amount of money, could we market gambling to your students? I would tell them to take a walk, but that's just me. At that age, you're very malleable. And at the end of the day, look, you're a college student. Aren't you supposed to be studying? You're not supposed to be sports gambling. Anyway. All right, team, 42nd Street. If you look all the way down here, that is Times Square. And this little ball right here is actually the one that they dropped on New Year's. Michael Joseph says the online sports books are big money and you really need self-control. You could buy lottery tickets on a cell phone now too. Holy crap. I didn't know that. Brick Stonewall says, Tom, I remember seeing tablets set up by credit card companies when I was in community college. Oh, tables, yeah. And then this is the Stephen Schwartzman Building, New York Public Library. BB says, Tom, are you staying in New York for the holidays? I am. I'm going to be home for the holidays. This is the State University in New York, SUNY College of Optometry. But BB, it's good to see you. Patrick, New York is here. Disney cast member says American Express used to really push student credit cards. Ryan Beck says, everybody wondering what sector is going to lead out of the bear market. That's where I'm going to drop some dinero. Yeah, I mean, Ryan, same here. I think I posted that on Twitter today too. I'm looking for new merchandise to lead this market. Tesla, Alphabet, all of these leaders have put in massive generational tops. And if you look at the data, as we emerge into a new bull market, there's always going to be new leadership. So I'm looking for the new leadership. We'll see what that is. Sparks Carnivals is healthcare potentially in 2023. The LT Prods is Tom, colleges that allow gambling marketing should be ineligible for any federal money. I think that's a good idea. Elliott Wave Reviews says, Tom, do you think the omnibus 1.7 trillion aid package will have negative impacts on inflation? Yes. I think any type of government spending is inflationary. All right, so let's head towards 5th Avenue. We're actually going to walk directly up 5th. This is 42nd Street, 5th Avenue, but we are going to be making a left headed uptown. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, please hit the like button on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these live streams about 5 days per week between New York City and Miami, Florida. I'll give you one more quick peek at the Stephen Schwartzman Building. I know Noel A says now we appreciate the gimbal much more. Isn't it a huge difference, man? Big difference. Hey, Hawaii. What's up? Good to see you. Hey, The Unusual Suspect. Thank you so much for your $10 donation. This is Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I appreciate the support. It's very hard to read the comments, so if I missed anybody donating to the channel, I do apologize. We're dealing with tremendous technical issues on the channel, but I appreciate all of the very kind support this year. Sam Plays says, Tom, can you go to the World Trade Center, please? Not tonight, but we will this week, because I want to get back down to Wall Street to show you guys the Christmas tree once again. I would do it tomorrow, but supposedly we're going to get hit with a crazy storm. It's going to be nuts. Oh, you know what? Let's actually go to the front of the New York Public Library. You guys see this? It looks like they're projecting some sort of... Let's see what that is. Hold on. Let's take a detour. Quick detour. Quick Walks on Wall Street detour here, because I'm actually curious about what they're projecting up there. But just as a quick review, everybody, so existing home sales declined 7.7% in November. However, sales were down 35.4% on a year-over-year basis. That is the 10th straight month of existing home sale declines. Obviously, as interest rates continue to move significantly higher. Now, the median sales price for all of the homes that were sold last month was about $370,700. That's up 3.5% year over year. So we're seeing big deceleration there. However, if we want to look at the exact unit amount, so how many homes were actually sold, it was about 4.09 million. That was actually weaker than economists' forecasts. So we all knew it was going to come in very, very weak. So the numbers, many people on the street were shooting low in general, and we actually came in lower than that. Just to sort of highlight the deterioration we're seeing in the housing market. Now, I'm trying to make out what that is. I'm not too sure what this is. I'll get you guys a little bit closer. Dan says we needed to pull back in the housing market. I agree. I think valuations are crazy. Oh, I think it's some fashion event. Let's check it out. But first, I'll give you guys an up-close and personal look at the lions here. Hey, Karina Thompson, welcome. Ryan Beck says not enough. We need inventory way up. I agree. This looks like some sort of advertisement for a fashion show, I think. Roberto, good to see you. So to Ryan Beck's point, right? Available housing inventory remains near record historic lows. There were 1.14 million homes for sale in November, representing a very, very historically low 3.3 months of supply. So there's only about 3.3 months of supply on the market. Now, according to major economists out there, in order for the market to be balanced between buyers and sellers in a normal market environment, it should be about 6.5 months of supply. So we have about half that. And one of the major things that have been fueling this, many people speculate, including myself, is we've been in an environment of quantitative easing for way too long, where it's created almost every single person who's bought a home over the past 10 years has an interest rate on their 30-year fixed or 15-year fixed of under 5%. So the refinancing market is zero, a big donut hole there. Nobody's refinancing and everybody just wants to stay put. Now this building over here, for all of our finance junkies, if you're from New York or you want to visit New York, visit the building across, I would say adjacent from the New York Public Library. It's actually the newer New York Public Library. If you go to the 5th floor, which is right there, you could actually use the Bloomberg terminals for free. Now, it's such an amazing resource to take advantage of because now you don't need a Bloomberg terminal to be successful in the financial markets at all. But, you know, think about if you live in New York City, you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of resources. Well, this is probably the one city that you can come to where almost all the tools you need to be successful are provided for you 100% free. The only thing you need to do is donate your time and effort into putting in the work to generating that alpha. All right, let's head uptown. I just wanted to see what the front of the library looked like. Yo, Manny Explores, what's up? Good to see you, my friend. Trust you're well. Thanks for joining us tonight. Manny Explores is our fellow streamer, good friend. What up? Hey, Penelope is here. Says, hey, Tom and everybody. Good to see you. Penelope is joining us from Tennessee. Now, Nashville, Tennessee has been one of the most hot, white hot housing markets of the past year. I think we'll just make the light. Hold on. Chrysler Building. You know what, since it's towards the holidays, I'll let you guys decide on where we should go first. Should we take one lap around Grand Central Station, or do you guys want us to bang a left here, up 5th Avenue, and head directly towards Saks Fifth Avenue and Central Park South? I'll let you guys decide. Hey, Liz is here. Says, hello, are you... Oh, you are steady in my nights. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Will M says Uptown. Grand Central, Central Park South. All right, let's head to Central Park South. NMB 045 called it out. Hey, Washington says, hey, Tom, not skateboarding anymore? Not anymore. And the reason being is, you know, we started the channel. Oh, here's another one of the trucks. I'm waiting to see the big parades for Hanukkah. You guys are going to find that really, really cool. We started the channel during the pandemic, right? When there was no cars on the road. So it was easy for me to skateboard. There's way too much traffic now. I mean, traffic has really, really recovered nicely, which is not the best for me. And I think the drivers, the skills of these drivers have deteriorated materially for whatever reason. So I think it's just too much of a risk for me. But I'm gonna try to film some standalone content, because I know, look, I love skateboarding too. I love it, but just the risk reward, I think, is maybe not good. My friend DJ Reviews in Under 2 says, hey, Tom, hope you have a Merry Christmas, my friend, and stay warm. Likewise, I appreciate the kind words, and thank you for being here. All right, West 44th Street, 5th Avenue, headed uptown. Hey, John Martin, thank you so much for the $2 donation. He says it's Christmas time, you have to go to 34th Street. We were just there maybe about 15 minutes ago. We'll probably be there on the way back. But thank you so much for your kind and generous donation. Oh, before I forget, I want everybody's opinion and feedback. So we don't have an introduction to the live stream, right? So whenever we start the live streams, it's just, white noise while I'm finishing up work and my emails. So I wanted to sort of create an introduction or an intro to the stream. So I've pulled a compilation of all of my favorite quotations and most memorable moments on Wall Street over the past, I would say, 50 years. So if you look on my YouTube channel under videos, not under lives, the most recent video that I posted is going to be our intro. Well, maybe. There's about a 50% chance. But I want you guys' input. I wanted to sort of theme it around the principles that I live by in investing, with some comedy thrown in there, right? So you have Peter Lynch, you have Seth Klarman, who we talk about all the time. We have William J. O'Neill, Jamie Dimon. So watch it, check it out, and let me know what you guys think. Let us cross here, because we're gonna run into a huge amount of foot traffic. This is actually the street I used to work on for many years. East 46th Street. But I work down here in this building, right in front of us. John Martin says, if I was a video, I'd create one for you. I appreciate that. GG NYC. All right, we'll run a poll because maybe we'll figure it out. I want it like 5 minutes long, just so people can get in the chat. I really like how they have all the trees lit up, headed into the Diamond District. You can tell there's a lot more tourists out tonight as we head towards the weekend. But this is one of the most famous blocks in New York City, the Diamond District, on the corner of 5th Avenue and 47th Street. You can tell the two diamond right here. OPPO says hi, good to see you. SK says, I think the calm start to your video that you have now is working perfectly. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Hey, Billy says, I like watching the old toy machine and blind skate videos. Our friend Evan Weeks is joining us. Good to see you, Evan. Hopefully you had a good day today. We're headed towards Central Park South tonight on the stream. Now, does anybody want to... Oh, really quick. You see these little moped type things? I think I'm actually going to wind up buying one for Miami, Florida, so I can get to downtown Miami, get to the office. Now, I never knew, the only reason why I never looked into it before, right, was because I thought they were like $10,000. But it turns out, oh, look at this. This is a PSG skateboard. That's awesome. Wow, that's a really nice board, actually. Sorry, I get sidetracked. What was I saying? The scooter, I always thought they were like 10 grand. They're 1,500 bucks. And they get 100 miles to the gallon. And I think they only go like 25 miles an hour, so it's not dangerous. I think that's a really efficient way to get around town in Miami. So maybe I won't have to take the bus. We'll see. We're gonna call it tentative on that. Zozo Bob's is get a helmet. Of course, 100%. You'd be crazy to ride that thing without a helmet. Crazy. Hey, Mechi says, hey Tom from Buenos Aires. Congratulations on the World Cup, my friend. Fantastic stuff. Here's Saks Fifth Avenue. You can see it. Evan Weeks says, I've been wanting an e-bike, but like one of those e-dirt bikes. Interesting. Yeah, I'm just looking for something like a safe thing to get around town. As you guys know, I'm not big into cars. I would never buy a car. But since it's 1,500 bucks, might as well. East 49th Street, Saks Fifth Avenue. Austin City Limits. That's hilarious. Yeah, let me ride that thing all the way to New York from Miami. I think we may start to buffer it here, to be honest. Not bad. Not bad. Pretty good. Yeah, John says I walk up and down Madison Avenue to avoid Fifth Avenue. It's probably a pretty good idea, to be honest. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna leave the Charlie Munger in. Like those. So if you look at that clip, those are all of my. Well, it's a combination of two things. We're about to have a really nice view of the Christmas tree here at Rockefeller Center. I think it looks better from across the street. Doesn't it? What do you guys think? This is outside 30 Rock. Oh, we always have connection issues here. All right, I think we may be good. Once we pass the touristy areas, we're usually good to go, usually ready to rock. Walking Minnesota, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. This is Tom. Would you get a copyright? Yeah, so that's the thing. Almost all of the content here gets copyrighted. I've just sort of come to accept that. I don't really mind. Chad says you need Verizon. I am on Verizon. Now, it's weird. So I do have a networking background. So actually, if for live streaming, you actually want to be on a carrier that not a lot of people have, because Verizon has a very, very congested network. So back in the day before Sprint merged with T-Mobile, it was actually best to live stream on Sprint because there was almost nobody on the network, so it wasn't very congested. This thing's pretty cool. Yeah, Will M., you're right. Now, the good thing, to sort of tie this into a business aspect, is that, you know, they called it a merger with Sprint and T-Mobile. It really, really wasn't a merger. It was just T-Mobile acquiring Sprint, really. And they did that for their spectrum. Because not for nothing, Sprint actually had a lot of very, very, I would say, sought after spectrum to deploy a 5G network right in that mid-band region. So I think T-Mobile is best positioned to actually build out a robust 5G network than AT&T and Verizon, because a lot of the 5G network is going to be built out right in that mid-band spectrum. So I think the main bands, like in the cell phone for T-Mobile, is band 66 and 71, I think. Those are the two main bands in the devices. And just look at T-Mobile's stock price as opposed to Verizon and AT&T. So here we have St. Thomas Church. Hey, Billy Johnson says, hey, Tom, good evening. Good to see you. Thank you, Billy Johnson, for being here. Yeah, Ryan Beck, you make a good point. And also, the dividend yields are massive on Verizon and AT&T. You know, they value, I would say the market values T-Mobile as like a growth company, and AT&T and Verizon are sort of like aristocrats. I don't own either of them, for full disclosure, but you are right. This is the University Club. Sparks Carnival says American Tower REIT is the one I own. They're like the landlords for cell towers. Yeah, American Tower. I think their ticker is what, AMT? That is another good thesis. Ted sees T-Mobile also has band 41 in their mid-band. Copy that. I think they may be turning, I don't know, I heard they may be turning, I know they're migrating everything over to band 71. So like some of the older model iPhones, I think iPhone 6S, I think, doesn't have 71, so it won't be able to work on the network pretty soon. Hey, Michael Joseph says both of them, probably in 80% of people's 401k portfolios. Yeah. Technically, they're in mine too, right? If you own an index fund. All right, I just want to point out these two hotels. Very beautiful here. St. Regis Hotel across the street. And on the other side, you have the beautiful peninsula. Check out all of the beautiful architecture here. Hey, Vivian Francesca says, good evening, Tom and everybody. Vivian, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. The topic of conversation is we've been talking housing almost all night. Now, we know that the National Association of Realtors released existing home sales data. We've fallen off a cliff again. 10 straight months in a row of sales transaction declines. However, on a year-over-year basis, prices continue to climb. But what's more important is the month-over-month basis, which is decelerating rather steeply. You know, I wanted to ask this. Do we have any watch people in the chat? Any big watch collectors? I have a couple friends that are obsessed with buying watches. I've just never been into it. I don't know. Ryan Beck says I am. So Ryan, quick question for you. What would you say, in your opinion, right, is a good sort of upper entry level watch? So let's say, okay, let me actually rephrase that better. I think that was a poor way to put it. Let's say if your budget, oh, this is cool. They didn't do that last year. They did it every single other year, but I didn't see that last year. Let's say if you're looking to spend, you know, $5,000 to $7,000 on a more entry level, upper entry level watch, what would be your go-to? What would be anybody's go-to in that range? 5 to 7. Hey, the Dark Horse, what's up? John says Rolex is actually entry level. Matthew M says, Tom, what's your opinion on the housing market crash? I don't think we'll have a crash. I just think that prices are going to go down because interest rates are going up. But I don't think we're going to have a 2008 style crash, I would say. Gregory is here, says there's a lot of engineering that goes into good watchmaking. True. Vivian says, Tom, my family owned a London watch company. Oh, owned London watch company in Miami, Florida. Whoa, that's crazy. I'm assuming you guys sold it off or something like that. Maybe you closed it down. Here we're outside of the Trump Tower. Hold on. Edwards is Tudor, Omega, and Grand Seiko. The Dark Horse is I collect 24 jewelry vintage Omegas. Ryan Bex is definitely a Tag IWC Rolex Oyster. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not a big watch person, but I will have to, I'm going to have to, I guess I don't have to, I guess I'm just using the word disclose for lack of a better word. I'm watching now the luxury watch market very, very closely. Very closely. I think there could actually be coming up a good play here to invest. Obviously, I wouldn't commit any significant capital to this, but that's the range I'm looking at. There's a ton of, obviously during the boom, the economic boom we've had, everybody started bidding up the prices of these watches, but now the secondary market or the resale market is being flooded with a lot of luxury watches. So I don't know, maybe there's going to be an opportunity coming up to pick up some, I don't know, some watches that you could maybe flip for double in maybe 10 years. Who knows? I'm looking into it. That's just what I'm doing. I don't know anything about watches, but I've decided to commit some capital and time to figuring it out. And I'll let you guys know how it goes. 5th Avenue here. Hey, Mustafa's here. What's up? It's very cold in Texas. Now, speaking of the luxury market, interesting segue here. Obviously, tonight we were talking about the National Association of Realtors existing home sales. The luxury market was the market that suffered the worst declines in sales transactions. And, as I was thinking about my first purchase of property, right? I've owned my property over a year now. I can't even believe that that's the case. That's insane. One of my really, really good friends who's big in the real estate business always said, if you're looking at it from an investment standpoint, even if it's your home that you're going to live in, always buy either just at the market or a couple points below it, but never buy at the high end of the market. You never want to be the nicest home in the neighborhood, ever. That's if you're looking at it from an investment standpoint, because in any type of economic condition and environment, people need a place to live. People need a place to stay. And you're always going to have demand for tenants if you live in a very modest, normal duplex, triplex, or single family home that you can rent for normal, modest rental rates. And that's sort of where I bought. I would say I bought just under the market. My house is definitely not, even by a long shot, the nicest house on the block. But I've been able to command some pretty decent rents in terms of short-term rentals. Sparks Carnival says, I do agree that now is the time to invest in illiquid or in liquid assets, but don't think the used watch market is it. Yeah, this is not for like an investment to, grow my net worth. This is more, just for fun and learn the watch market, things like that. I'm definitely not looking to, put on a couple basis points to my net worth from buying watches. But you're right. Evan Weeks as well. Hell, current house is the best place in the neighborhood. I even installed a pool. Nice. And finished the basement, making it a 5-bed with kitchenette. Yeah, but I mean, if it's going to be the place, I'm sort of talking about it like from a standpoint, if you're just basically a real estate investor and you're using these properties for a cash flowing real estate, right? Now, I'm assuming that's probably not what you're doing. Yours is probably, your forever home with your family and hanging out, which is great. But generally speaking, for the first time home buyers out there, you never really want to buy above the market. You never want to buy the nicest home on the block because you want to try to generate alpha, right? You want to try to buy something that maybe needs a little bit of work. You can put a little bit of elbow grease into it so you can personally appreciate the value of the property. I think this is one of my favorite windows here on 5th Avenue, and this is my first time seeing it. Joe Driver, welcome. Good to see you, Joe. Tony Cortez. Yeah, Ryan Beck says enjoy it and flip it. I don't wear a watch currently. Again, never really been a watch guy, but I think that this is exactly what I was talking about, guys. Here we have it. this is the largest, I think. Don't quote me on that, but we're just going to go with it. This is the largest menorah on the island of Manhattan. And it's here every single year. We hit the red light. That's all right. Right outside the Plaza Hotel. Now, this thing is really cool. I think they have a lighting ceremony. I think we missed it. But let me maneuver this way, and we'll sort of loop around, and you guys can see it. But it's the largest one in Manhattan. And we will cross right here. But yeah, the luxury real estate market as it relates to single family homes have seen the slowest, or I would say the largest transaction hit, which makes sense, right? During bull markets, and especially at the end, the tail end of bull markets, what I like to call the irrational exuberance phase. That's when everybody goes crazy buying second and third homes in the Hamptons. And then when reality sets in and the easy money goes away, well, buyers dry up. All right, let's give a rating here. I'm going to go 10 out of 10 just because this thing is massive. I don't think the stream may do it justice. But that's actually some good perspective. That's probably about a 6 foot tall individual there. And look at how tall the menorah is here. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Third night, right? GG NYC says 9. You like the one in Brooklyn? Is the one in Brooklyn larger than this one? And then here, you have a really nice view of 432 Park Avenue and the Trump Tower in the background. Michael Joseph says the one in Brooklyn is huge. Where in Brooklyn is that? Williamsburg section? Now, I know one of the largest Jewish communities in New York is located in Williamsburg. So if I had to guess, I'll just guess there. They actually have a pretty nice Christmas tree outside of the Apple store too. Not gonna lie. Oh, here they have a very nice nativity. Really nice. Yeah, Ryan Beck says luxury watches will be around well longer than we will, and smartwatches. That's true. That's very true. You know, silver and gold have been catching a little bit of a bid here. I think that will continue, assuming that the dollar has topped. Now, weaker dollar is usually very bullish gold and silver. Now, I wanted to ask you guys something as we attempt to cross the street here. This is the Sherry Netherland hotel. Very, very expensive hotel. So I've been noticing something. I think I may have told you guys this, maybe not. I don't know. I forget. It's so cold that I'm losing my memory. But not only the Federal Reserve, but global central banks have been buying gold and silver at the fastest pace in their history. Has anybody else seen that? So I think, and you guys know me, I'm not a gold bug. I don't own gold. You guys know my take on it. But if something as significant as that happens, you kind of got to pay attention to it. Any thoughts on that news? As we are outside the Apple store here, 59th Street, 5th Avenue. Johns is Borough Park, biggest Jewish neighborhood. They blast an air raid siren at Passover. You can hear from Bay Ridge, miles away. Ryan Beck says, I'm not sure. I just know CNBC was hot and bothered on gold and silver all week. Hilarious. Hey, Steve CR says, by happenstance, I have about 14,000 in gold and diamonds. Very nice. Joe Driver says, Tommy, you buying a new or bespoke watch? I'm not buying any watch now. Here's what I want to do. Here's my goal for 2023, or one of them. System, whatever. I've never been a watch guy, but I kind of want to learn about it because I'm curious about it. I'm curious. And usually this is sort of what I do. Whenever there's like a big hype and a big euphoria around something, I tend not to pay attention to it. But when I start seeing things like the markets are depressed and people are selling heavy and everybody's bearish on it, that's when I kind of have my interest peaked and I want to take a look. There's been numerous articles I've been reading, one in CNBC, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, about how during 2020, really quick, I want to point out this building. This is the Steinway, or the Stairway to Heaven building here on Billionaires Row. And one of our viewers here on Walks to Wall Street was one of the designers or architects on that building. I want to point that out because that's awesome. That's really cool. Now, there's been so many. I'll show you into the Apple store. You could actually see the people shopping below. There's been tons of articles in the Wall Street Journal, Barron's, and you name it. Western Mass Dave, I see you checking in. Good to see you. God bless. Happy holidays. I'm getting your package tomorrow, by the way, so thank you for that. That a lot of people who bought watches when everything was good and everybody had money about a year ago, they're being forced to sell them, and that is flooding the watch market, and prices could decline soon. So I think there's no better way, if I ever wanted to learn about it, than maybe through next year, when maybe if I could maybe pick something up. Now, I may not buy something, but I've allocated $5,000 to $7,000 to learn about it. That's going to be my cost of education. I'll let you guys know if and when I buy something. But that is what I've allocated as sort of like an investment piece. But it's very possible that I just don't even pull the trigger and I never wind up buying it. But since markets are depressed, since I see maybe some opportunity, now my interest is peaked a little bit. So we'll see. Oh, Ryan Beck. Thank you so much. Yeah, so Western Mass Dave, I'm going to be at the office tomorrow, hopefully. So I know the package is there. I got a little email from the assistant that I sent you. So it's there. I just got to get it. Ibrahim Azam, welcome. Thanks for being here. T3, this is what my thoughts are when you hear about it in the mainstream media. You're too late. Generally speaking, yes. Generally speaking, yes. But I actually think we may be in the early innings of liquidation phase. I think this is going to be a very nasty recession. Not to be too negative, but all right, let's head over to 6th Avenue. You know, I think I'll walk down Central Park South. Yogi's here. What's up? Good to see you, Yogi. I wonder if you're allowed to film inside the plaza. I would love to show you guys inside there. TC says, any truth that WeWork is possibly going bankrupt? Yeah, possibly. FredEx is walking like you own the joint. All right. If they tell us to go out, we'll respect it. All right, here's the lobby. Whoa, this is so nice. Guys, this is really, really nice here. Wow, look at the chandelier. Holy crap, that is such a nice chandelier. Neil F says, are you checking in? Yeah, right. Yeah, I definitely don't think I could afford this. Now here's sort of like the bar and the lounge here. I've been in here once before. Guys, look at all the detail in the crown molding here, as well as the chandelier. Unbelievable detail, right? Yeah, first name, last name is incredible, isn't it? Now, in my view, I think that this type of architecture is sort of better than the modern style. Now, if you want to talk about very expensive hotels, I think one of the most expensive hotels in New York is right on 57th Street, inside the 157 building. It is called the Park Hyatt, but it is more of a modern luxury design. But if you ask me, I actually prefer the inside of the likes of the Plaza Hotel, as well as the JW Marriott Essex House. Has anybody in the chat stayed at the Plaza Hotel? I've never stayed here, but I've eaten here before. Look at the bar here. It's sort of like a roundabout. Really unique. Really pretty in here. Hey, the ABX girl. Good to see you. This is John F. Kennedy, Once for America, 131. Yeah, the Dark Horse's Trump hotels are very stunning as well. They are. I've actually stayed in the one in the one Central Park West. I think the address is called 1 Central Park West. Let me stand back a little bit so you guys could see the 3 chandeliers here. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and hit the subscribe button if you're new. We do these live streams about 5 days a week between New York City and Miami. Then you have some more Christmas trees here. Pizza Man says, Tom, 1 room and a king bed is $700 in Expedia. I think once you add in everything, it's actually probably a little bit more. And this is us. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, team. Wow, look at it from this angle. This is really nice. I'm so surprised we're actually allowed to film in here. That's why I'd never been in. I didn't think we were allowed. I'm so glad FredEx is walking there like you own the place. That's the New York attitude, FredEx. There we go. Love that. Plus 2 points for FredEx tonight in the chat for prompting us to go in here. Ooh, Boca Raton, Florida. I want to be there right now. A lot of New Yorkers in Boca Raton, Florida. Well, that was cool. Thanks for joining me in there. All right, I gotta put my hood back up because it's so freezing. Hold on. I have these, I'm wearing a hoodie and a jacket. When we do the streams, I put both hoods up because it's so freezing. I don't want to get sick, so I gotta readjust that. But this is the residences here on this side. You'll notice that the front entrance is the hotel, but the side entrance is actually the residence. You'll notice it says residences only, 1 Central Park South. Yeah, Michael Joseph is like, next, you need to walk in the New York Stock Exchange like you own the place. I think we'll probably get tackled if that happens. So we definitely don't want to be doing any of that. But that is one of my dreams, my goals, is to go to the New York Stock Exchange. Unfortunately, after 9/11, which is totally understandable, by the way, right? Like, I'm not complaining. I don't want to make it seem like I'm complaining about it. I get it. You know, there's a lot of places that were closed down after September 11th for obvious reasons. But you know, it's unfortunate because you used to be able to tour or walk around inside the New York Stock Exchange. No longer, though. Not allowed. Now, you could tell you're on Central Park South when you see all of these sort of art and antiques galleries here. I actually used to live Up the road here, 106 Central Park South. It was my old stomping grounds. Yeah, Neil F., you're right. We have to use this to keep the phone stable, or else you guys will be getting seasick. Park Lane Hotel, they actually completely remodeled this, by the way, for anybody looking to stay in New York. Now, they closed this down temporarily during the pandemic throughout 2020, about halfway through 2021 as well. But it is fully remodeled in here. And if you go to the second floor, that is when they serve the breakfast. They have their whole dining area. It's really nice. I've stayed here once, but before it was all remodeled. We have the skaters here, love it. Tommy G is here. Good to see you, Tommy. All right, I'm gonna put you guys down for 3 seconds. I gotta zip up my jacket. When I go inside a place, I like to take off the hood and unzip the jacket, because it kind of looks sketchy if someone's walking in there with a hood. This is the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. Love the American flag outside. And here we are, 6th Avenue, Avenue of the Americas. And here you'll have all the horses. Yeah, Ryan Beck's Central Park is right across the street. This is the very, very beginning of Central Park. So Central Park runs all the way from 59th Street, Central Park South, all the way up to 110th Street, Cathedral Parkway. And I think if you run all the way around the perimeter of Central Park, I think it's like, what, 5.5 miles? Maybe somebody could look that up while we're streaming. But it was awesome to live here. This was definitely my favorite apartment that I've had in New York, because I didn't need a gym. I would just come down and then go running in Central Park right here. Now, this was, back in the day during the pandemic when nobody wanted to be in New York, so you could get a pretty nice bargain living on Central Park South, but no longer, unfortunately. Hey, Billy, this is Tom. We went for a horse and carriage to landing on the moon in 50 years. I know, crazy, right? Now, that's actually a good comment, because that's also why I tend to be a raging optimist, and why a lot of people can even get upset sometimes about how optimistic I am. But innovation will never stop. Oh my gosh, we've been streaming for 2 hours. We got to head back down to Penn Station. I'll take you guys with me, don't worry. Love the dog here. I think that is either like a poodle or a golden doodle, maybe? Beautiful dog. 10 out of 10. Hey, Sabrina Fair, what's up? Merry Christmas to you, Happy Hanukkah. Hopefully you're staying warm. Abdullah, good to see you. Now, there's a really good deli here, bodega. I used to go to all the time. It's actually a Korean deli. You would never know it, but it's called Mercy Market. It's pretty good. I think there's another location, where is it? Maybe 38th Street as you're walking down towards Herald Square. But this is actually pretty good. They have a good hot food bar here. Let's see if you could see all the way into it. Yeah, if you walk in, you bang a right. Really, really good hot food bar here. Lots of good food. Yes, Sabrina, we were just talking about existing home sales falling off a cliff. Oh yeah, the last thing I wanted to mention is the junk bond market. So if you look at ticker symbol JNK, you could track the junk bond market. It's the ETF that tracks junk bonds. Notice the very interesting action there. I think if we crack the lows in the junk bond market, things are really going to unwind here. But I'll quickly show you 157. So we did a quick tour of the Plaza Hotel, but this is one of the most expensive hotels in the entire New York City. It is inside 157. It's called the Park Hyatt. Now, the Park Hyatt is an amazing, amazing hotel, but it is more of a modern style luxury, not the very classic, I guess you can call it Art Deco maybe? I don't know, but sort of like the olden time, Plaza Hotel, JW Marriott, Essex House. In my opinion, I kind of like the look and feel of the Plazas, JW Marriott, as opposed to the newer type of luxury. I don't know, it feels more classic, it feels more real. I don't know another descriptive term, but it seems as if things were made better back then, if that makes sense. Like the desks are heavier, like huge, heavy mahogany wooden desks. Love the dog there. Yeah, Fredix, it feels more New York. You're right. Sunshine after rain, welcome. Steven Chow says, hey Tom, happy holidays from San Francisco Bay Area. Thank you, I appreciate it. Happy holidays to you as well. So how's the real estate market there in the San Francisco Bay Area? Because I was reading an article, looking at some data, and one of the markets that has not been holding up well relative to other markets on the East Coast has been San Francisco. And I think, if I had to guess, I don't know why, but San Francisco is a heavy tech town, and a lot of these tech jobs you can do remotely. So if I can be a software engineer and live in a lower cost of living place, I think a lot of people may be starting to do that, move out of places like the Valley. I don't know, but it's interesting. Big price declines in San Francisco. This is Alliance Bernstein. I'll point out a very notable hedge fund in this building, Fortress Investments. We talk about Michael Novogratz, who now owns Galaxy Digital, was a PM here. Melee says, Tom, a lot of people move out of San Francisco. There was an earthquake there yesterday. Holy crap, that's another thing. Steven Chow says, Tom, real estate and Bay Area housing is still high, but not like it was earlier in the year. Now, in a way, I actually view that as good news, right? Because let's say if you're trying to raise a family or buy your first home in the Bay Area, San Francisco, well, you want prices to come down. And we talked about, I think the most important thing we talked about tonight as it relates to that existing home sales report is the percentage of first-time home buyers. This month, or I should say last month in November, it was an all-time record low of the percentage of all existing home sales that were first-time home buyers. So first-time home buyers made up only 28% of sales in November. Historically, this is all-time record lows. If you think about in normal times, it's supposed to be about 40 to 42% of the overall market is first-time home buyers. Now it seems like first-time home buyers are just totally priced out of the market. And earlier on in the live stream, we talked about why this is so detrimental to the long-term health of the US economy. Mainly because if you look at the data, one of the largest components that make up the net worth of the average American is the equity in their home. This thing is pretty interesting. Oh my gosh, look at this. 25 cents for the first half mile. Now it's 25 cents just for look. Jeez. That's a perfect example of inflation, I guess. Hey, Dan Zhang says, Tom, have you seen Architectural Digest's new touring video of $150 million apartment Ryan Serhant is selling? I did see that, and it is nuts, man. Crazy. Think about how rich you have to be to afford a $250 million piece of real estate. I mean, my God, crazy. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about the most expensive apartment that is for sale. So if you guys are interested, go ahead, have a purchase. It is the top 3 floors, so the triplex, atop of Central Park Tower. It is selling for $250 million. Now, I think all first-time home buyers are probably priced out of that one. But maybe if we all pool our funds together, maybe we could afford to pay the property taxes for 1 month. They did a really nice job here too. Hey, Billy, this is Tom. If you want a really great book on California real estate crisis, check out Golden Gates. Ooh, thank you so much. Let me take a screenshot of that. Love book recommendations. Vivian says, I missed the tons of yellow cabs in New York City. I think their taxi medallion expired and they came to Uber, etc. Yeah, I mean, that's just a class example of disruption, right? Now, talk about another speculative bubble. Here on Walks on Wall Street, we always talk about, bubbles and financial manias in traditional asset classes. But if you want to talk about another speculative mania, there was actually one in taxi medallions. So much so that there's some, unfortunately, it's really heartbreaking, but it's the truth. There's a lot of taxi cab drivers that were sort of swindled into these loan sharking loans in the tune of $900,000 to $1 million to buy taxi medallions. It's one of the most speculative, crazy bubbles that have ever happened in New York. This is Neuberger Berman, very large asset manager here. And then right outside of the UBS building where Marcelo Gill works. Hey, W is here, welcome. Karan Stewart says, hey chat, good to see you, Karan. Thanks for joining. Sean says, rents around Middlesex County, MA is nuts. Yeah, rents are nuts pretty much all up and down the Northeast. NNB045 says, Tom, if every one of your 25K subscribers contribute 10K to pay a $200 million apartment, we can make the purchase happen. I know. Isn't that crazy? You know what we actually could do? Like, this is actually a reality. We could build a DAO and market this all over the internet. We're not going to do this, by the way. I don't advise it. But we could raise the funds and then purchase the Central Park Tower through some sort of a holding company, and we could all have a fractional ownership in the holding company that owns Central Park Tower. That is a reality. We could do that. They tried to do that to buy the U.S. Constitution, but they were outbid by Citadel Securities' Ken Griffin. All right, we may be in buffer territory here, so just watch out. Yogi says Ken Griffin owns the Constitution. He bought a copy of it, like the original, yeah. I know, Sabrina Fair says Tom, lenders lost their shirts and medallions. It was the cities that participated this. I know, Twitch ASMR, this is he paid like a week's worth of pay. You know, Ken Griffin was at the World Cup final with Elon Musk. Did anybody see that? Michael Joseph is the Walks in Wall Street SPAC. Oh my God, I promise you guys I'll never launch a SPAC, ever. You know, looking back, doing a post-analysis on 2021, I think we got a lot of things right, and we got some things wrong too. But if there was one thing that we could look back on throughout the live stream this year and say, wow, we really nailed that to a wall, was the massive implosion in the SPAC market, the special purpose acquisition companies. I mean, we've been pounding the table for probably 2 years about how all these things are going to zero. And almost every single SPAC is down 90%. I think there's only a handful of them that are actually performing rather well. All right, let us head down because we got to head back to Penn. Now tomorrow it's supposed to rain like crazy here. Because the internet is definitely not good here. Alright, so we're about to come up on the News Corporation building, who owns the Wall Street Journal, Barron's, Investors Business Daily, IBD. There's a lot of tourists out tonight.
Do you want to? Now's your moment.
But if you guys have been enjoying the live stream so far,
Let's go this way because we'll catch the light train.
feel free to hit the like button on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new here. We usually do these live streams about 5 days a week between New York City and Miami. Yeah, let's check where the battery is. We're at 13%. Wow, this battery's actually lasted a long time. I'm surprised. We are now in Walks on Wall Street after hours territory now. I gotta pick up the pace walking because I gotta get the train. Yeah, I mean, on Monday, the city was dead, if you guys remember. Hey, W's. Tom, I just passed by you an hour ago. Very small world. Hope you had a good night. You guys have seen this a million times, but this is my old office. Hey. That building is a quantitative hedge fund, D.E. Shaw. But I think the most successful quant fund on Wall Street is Renaissance Technologies, founded by Jim Simons. And he was actually a math teacher that opened up the hedge fund in a little strip mall on Long Island and grew it into one of the most successful quant firms on the street, generating a positive 40% per annum return, which is unheard of on Wall Street. Clouds says Tom is the metalhead. Yeah, I'll give you guys, okay, if you want to listen to a really, really good song, I don't play this around the Christmas dinner table or anything, but I always forget the name of it. Well, I gotta put in the battery pack. Repeat Process by 100 Demons. So check it out. Repeat Process by 100 Demons. Great song. Steve CR says, Repeat Process by 100 Demons. That's it. That is it. Nina is here. This is Hey Tom. Team, we're actually gonna have to end it here because I gotta get home and I think we're running late on time and I gotta book it to the train station. So team, I appreciate it. We'll be back here tomorrow, maybe 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So thank you for joining us as we talked about the real estate market, existing home sales. I'll leave you off with the beautiful view of the Empire State Building. Happy Hanukkah, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all of you. Leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Mike C, Pot of Gold, Joseph Hardaway, Western Mass Dave, Wendy England, Fred X, NMB 045, TC, Ted C, Will M, Jessica B, Joan K, Photos from around New York, Sabrina Fair, Zozo Bob, Vivian, CR, Natalie, Disney Hat, Disney cast member, ATC, Karan Stewart, Twitch ASMR, Young Nation 92, Stephen Chow, thank you so much. War Walker, Into the Mighty Bull, have a good night wherever you are, because there's always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.